Today we are featuring our own in-house network administrator, Darius Lambert. Darius is currently wrapping up his degree on information assurance at Eastern Michigan University. Cybersecurity is often seen as one of those big problems that only large entities like banks, tech companies, and governments have to worry about. In reality, a lot more people should be concerned with cybersecurity and not just the big corporations. We are all at risk. Our outline today includes a brief introduction into cybersecurity, including a few disturbing facts to capture your attention. Next, Darius will explain how cybercriminals access and monetize information, what security measures you should have in place, and special considerations for affluent families when thinking about cybersecurity. Darius will discuss the basics of phishing, ransomware, and malware attacks. Finally, if you have any additional questions, please send them to the contact information listed on the posting. To my attention, Charlene Reardon. Some interesting facts about cybersecurity. The global cost of online crime is expected to reach $6 trillion by 2021. To put that in perspective, our national debt is roughly $22 trillion. So that's about 27%, which is an astounding number. Often, it is data breaches that steal the headlines. In most cases, it takes companies about 6 months to even detect a data breach. Let me remind you of a few of them. In 2016, 3 billion Yahoo accounts were hacked by one of the biggest breaches of all time. In 2017, 150 million customers were affected by the Equifax breach. According to a 2017 statistic, there are over 130 large-scale targeted breaches in the US per year, and that number is growing by about 27% per year. In fact, cybercriminals managed to exploit credit cards of 48% of Americans back in 2016. Darius will be discussing phishing attacks. 91% of attacks launch with a phishing email. You'll learn more about that later. 85% of all attachments emailed daily are harmful to their intended recipients. Now, nearly everyone has a smartphone, making hackers and cyber criminals have greater choices of targets for attack. Over 20% of cyber attacks in 2017 were sourced from China, about 11% from the US, and 6% from the Russia Federation. With those statistics in your head, I'm now going to turn this over to Darius Lambert for how to protect yourself against cyber criminals.
Okay, hello guys, and welcome to the Telemus Cybersecurity webinar. We're going to start off with some common cyber terms. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, shows that a website has a valid security certificate, and this will be displayed on the URL of the website you're visiting. A cookie is a small amount of data generated by a website and saved to your web browser. Its purpose is to remember information about you. A URL is the address of a worldwide web page. Some more common cyber terms. Phishing is an attempt by a hacker to gain information from you using your email. Most phishing attempts appear to come from trusted sources using a method called spoofing. Spoofing involves manipulating the sender information in an email to appear to be someone else. Malware is any malicious program that attempts to damage a computer and compromise data. Some common forms of malware. A worm. A worm is a type of malware that infects other computers while remaining active on a host computer by infecting files. A Trojan is a type of malware that misleads users of its true intent. They typically hide in seemingly harmless programs. A virus is a type of malware that inserts its code into computer programs and replicates itself into other programs. Ransomware is a form of malware that encrypts your entire storage drive and asks for a payment to unlock your data. Okay, starting off with cybersecurity in your own home and with your own data, you're going to want to start with your personal machine. The first step to protecting everything that you have locally is to properly configure your computer. This means keeping software up to date and making sure you have proper software installed to keep your computer and data safe. Once you set up your computer properly, maintenance is very easy. following slides include tips and best practices for personal machine care. Are software updates safe? Software updates are generally safe to install for mobile devices and operating systems. Updates that come from the software itself can also be trusted in most cases. It is very rare that you'll be prompted to update software and download malware. Install antivirus. You have likely heard this tip before, but in today's environment, it's more important than it's ever been. Antivirus programs have improved alongside the malicious programs they protect against. Antivirus can protect you against most of today's malicious software, including ransomware and some forms of phishing attempts. Keep your software up to date. Failing to update your software regularly puts your data at risk. Your computer's operating system must be updated as well as the programs you use on your computer. These updates not only improve your software, but they also provide important patches for vulnerabilities in your software. Be aware of browsing the internet. You are always at risk when browsing the internet. When using the internet, you want to limit your traffic to trusted websites with valid security certificates. To the left, I have an example with the telemis.com URL. And as you can see, it has HTTPS at the beginning of the URL, and there's also a lock symbol to the left. If you click this lock symbol to the left of the URL, you'll get the box to the right, which shows you that the connection is secure and that the information is private when it's sent to the site. You can also see the number of cookies in use. Some sites may have valid certificates, but can still harbor malicious content, so always stay aware. Encrypt your storage drives. Storage drives that contain important data should always be encrypted. Encrypting storage drives protects the user from losing data when their storage drive is taken from them physically. Drive encryption is even more important when it comes to laptops due to the ease of theft. Mobile device care. A lot of the same cybersecurity principles apply to your mobile devices as well. Mobile devices are always a high risk due to the ease of theft that comes with small devices. This next section focuses on making sure your mobile devices are set up properly, and we also offer some tips on how to maintain the security of your mobile devices. Always use a password on laptops and mobile phones. Setting a password on your mobile devices is the most important step to protecting data on mobile devices. Without a password, any person can access your mobile device and gain access to your personal data through applications or directly from your storage drive. Understand information such as contacts and notes can be targets for hackers as well. If you have important contacts saved in your phone, such as the CEO of a certain business, then hackers can use this information to target that person. You also want to be aware of the notes that you save on your mobile devices, as they can also be important targets for hackers. Keep mobile device software up to date. It can be easy to fall behind with software updates if you do not use a mobile device often. Periodically turning on your mobile device and downloading and installing updates will make sure that you're ready to use your mobile device when you are in a pinch or trying to work on something quickly. The preparation is always very important with mobile devices, as using one and updating it will take some time. Exercise caution when connecting to untrusted networks or public Wi-Fi. A network should not be trusted if there's not a password set to gain entry to the network. This is usually the case in public areas and poses a major security risk for users since the network is unsecure. Any person connected to this network and can also interact with the other devices connected to the network. Hackers for many years have intercepted traffic from public areas on unsecured Wi-Fi. Internet best practices. This next section focuses on best practices when browsing the internet. There's a lot of content on today's internet, and a large portion of the content is malicious. Always stay aware of the websites you're visiting and the links that you're clicking on. Use a password manager. In today's environment, users are transitioning to using passphrases instead of passwords to boost account security. Passphrases and passwords can be hard to remember across several accounts. The solution to this issue is using a password manager. A password manager can securely store your passwords for you in a centralized place, and some of these options also encrypt your passwords as well. Use two-factor authentication when possible. If any site you have an account on offers two-factor authentication, then you should make use of the feature. This feature is much safer than just having a password or passphrase on your account. It's also important to keep in mind that two-factor authentication can only boost account security. It cannot ensure account security. Use precaution when interacting with emails. Emails are an easy way for a hacker to get in touch with you. Be sure you know who you're interacting with and whether or not they sent you an email. A best practice when you're unsure if an email is legitimate is to call the person that the email says it is from. In conclusion, be sure to install antivirus on your devices. Keep your operating system and software up to date. Use passwords on all your devices. Use caution when communicating over the internet. Be aware of the sites you visit, and use drive encryption and two-factor authentication when possible. Thank you for your time.
Darius, thank you for your time this afternoon. If you have any questions for Darius, feel free to contact Darius directly or myself, Charlene Reardon, at telemuscapital.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.